My name's Jesse Hagopian. I'm a high school history teacher at Garfield in Seattle. Back in winter, we had an all-staff vote that was unanimous to oppose the Measures of Academic Progress test, or the MAP test, a computer-administrated test that the teachers at Garfield High School have said is not aligned to our curriculum. So 9th grade algebra teachers will tell you that they see geometry questions on the test. And I felt like that's like if a French teacher sees a Spanish question on the test. Yeah, it's foreign language, but it's a different subject. And, you know, abuse after abuse like that on these tests, not being aligned to our curriculum, these tests monopolizing our computer labs and our libraries. We were told by the Seattle School District themselves that these tests had a higher rate of error than expected gains, making them statistically invalid. And all these reasons led the teachers at Garfield to say enough is enough. And we voted unanimously to refuse to administer this district-mandated test, and we weren't alone. You know, as soon as we took that stand, it really sent shockwaves throughout Seattle and I think throughout the country. And first we saw the Garfield High School PTSA, the parent organization, vote unanimously to support us. And I think it was a real testament to the fact that they know their kids are being over-tested. I think the immediate cause is testing companies. We're seeing a multi-billion-dollar industry explode across America as a result of the No Child Left Behind Act and then its successor, the Race to the Top, that mandate more and more testing and more high stakes to these testing. And I think it's part of a general trend towards privatization in lots of sectors of the economy, but we're seeing it brought into education, and I think it's particularly pernicious there. I think we definitely need a movement in this country to push back against the privatization of our services. I think that the Occupy movement was a good example of hundreds and thousands of people across the country who showed that they're fed up with a system that benefits the very wealthy, the testing companies, the oil companies, right, the 1%. And I think we really do need to redesign education to benefit the 99%. We need an education system where we fund our schools, we fund our libraries, before we fund bombing people around the world, or before we give tax breaks away to the wealthiest corporations.
Have teachers been disciplined? Is the administration trying to attack or discipline teachers?
Well, because of the overwhelming solidarity that we received at Garfield High School, I'm proud to say and very happy to say that not a single teacher has been disciplined. We were first threatened with a 10-day suspension without pay, and then the superintendent backed off of that when he received hundreds upon thousands of emails, letters, and phone calls. And, you know, our movement and struggle reached people all around the country and the world.
And what kind of support have you gotten around the country and around the world?
It's been absolutely incredible to get letters sent to Garfield High School, flowers sent to Garfield High School, pizza sent to us from a school in Florida, books sent to us by authors all over the country. And then on May Day, on May 1st, we received letters of solidarity from unions all over the world. The Japanese teachers sent us a letter. Teachers in Oaxaca, in the UK, 41,000 teachers union sent us a letter of solidarity from British Columbia. So it's been absolutely incredible to see that we've really tapped into a sentiment of teachers around the country and world who want authentic assessment. Well, I was never more proud of my union, I have to say, than when they sent a letter of support to Garfield High School, and I think that's the direction we need to move in. I'm also very heartened to see that the AFT just came out with a moratorium. It's calling for a moratorium on standardized testing while they begin implementing the Common Core. I think these are important first steps. I hope the NEA follows very, very soon, but I think we do need to rebuild the union movement in this country based on the idea that schools should be in the public hands, right? Public schools are the last major public service that most people get, and we should keep it public, and we need to have an all-out fight. So charter schools were illegal in Washington State until this year, and we saw the Gates Foundation and we saw Walmart, right, and the Walton family donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to the pro-charter school campaign, which, even though we were outspent 10-1, even though hundreds of thousands of dollars flowed into this corporate privatization scheme of public schools, they only won the vote by about 1%. And so I think it shows there's a lot of discontent with privatizing our public schools, and that if we build a fight, that I think we can begin to reverse it. I've been really disheartened by the education policy from the Obama administration, and that has been orchestrated and crafted by Arne Duncan. This logic of race to the top, of locking our school districts and our children in bitter competition, is antithetical to everything that education should be, right? And if you look at the countries that Arne Duncan and these people celebrate as outperforming the United States, you realize that they do the exact opposite of what race to the top prescribes. So schools in Finland, that is ranked #1, that the corporate reformers lament outperforms us every year, they have only one standardized test that kids take in their entire career, and they mostly use portfolios as authentic assessments. And this is what the teachers at Garfield High School have begun discussing and asking that we look into alternative forms of assessments that are actually tied to our classroom, because we're not afraid of being assessed, and we want to show student progress, but we can't do that with tests that are not connected to the things we're teaching in our classroom. I'd love to get some of these politicians on merit pay, because I think they're doing a very poor job, and I think they have very limited understanding of education and what it takes to succeed. When you cut funds to the schools, when in the Seattle Public Schools they laid off every single elementary school counselor, right? And then when the kids act up more, they have less parental support because of this weakened economy and families struggling to get by, and they get to the schools and they need a little extra support, and they don't have their counselor, and they act out more, and then the teacher is blamed because the kid didn't succeed to the standard of that test. And I think really the blaming of teachers is about deflecting blame from the fact that our economy has been driven into the ground by the so-called experts. The bankers and the politicians have destroyed our economy, and they're looking for a scapegoat for what's wrong with American society. And I'm proud to say that the teachers at Garfield High School are done being scapegoats, and that we want our voice heard about what is authentic assessment. And we've said, if you refuse to listen, then we have power in numbers, and we've organized and we're fighting back. So thanks.
Thank you.
All right.